Hey folks, it's just me again. I wanted to give a plug to a friend of mine and the book she recently came out with, a Tolkien art book. There's so many wonderful artists out there now, who illustrate Tolkien and other fantasy as well. And the one I want to talk to you about today is a friend of mine named Miriam Ellis, who has just put out a book called The Art of Mercy in Middle-earth, paintings inspired by Tolkien's Legendarium. It's available on her website, Miriam Ellis. It's available at Amazon. It's available at all the usual suspects. But I just wanted to talk about it and what I like about it for a little bit. Usually with Tolkien art, the artist will, depict some big scene, Gandalf and the Balrog, the fall of Gondolin, stuff like that, big dramatic events, or dramatic landscapes, and there's so many people who do that so well. Miriam has a different approach. Miriam's paintings are much more like more intimate, smaller scenes or imagined scenes that you wouldn't run into anywhere else, like the bears who had been dancing at Bjorn's house, and the elven feast in the Hobbit, in the forest, the Teleri on the beach in Valinor, Círdan and Gandalf at the havens, a took and a brandy book dancing the Springle ring on top of a table at Bilbo's farewell party, and dozens more, and it's the choice of scene is very different, and that's very interesting in itself. It's also true that Miriam has a really nice way with light, and with depicting, and with making things look very soft. She had these very soft but detailed brush strokes. In some ways, it's like, you know, uh, some Cézannes or Renoirs, in what they do with the light, and it's very impressionistic. And I know very little about painting, so I've pretty much just put all I know out there. But that was the first thing I thought of, were Cezanne and Renoir and their use of light and their brushwork. So if you want something, that's very Tolkien but very different, the book has been highly praised by various people: Tom Shippey, Sarah Brown, Ted Nasmith, and so on. Lots of good people who know their Tolkien. So if you are interested, I suggest you pick the book up. As I said, it's called The Art of Mercy in Middle-earth. Paintings inspired by Tolkien's Legendarium. I'll put an image up on the screen if I haven't already. As I said, it's going to be available from all the usual suspects in both hardcover and paperback. The publisher is Uppsala Books. That's Uppsala Books. So, and Miriam can be found at miriamellis.com. Thanks.